Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're playing City Skylines again today. This is going to be another bus route optimization day, and I've come to realize something. Here's something really interesting to observe. So the last time we did a bus day, we laid out this orange line right here. And you notice something, we got 35% of trips saved on this line. And I noticed a couple of these other ones are quite high. And I'm curious as to why this was, right? So I checked into it, and it looks to me like the routes that save the most trips are the ones that are very, very direct between point A to point B. This route here, this blue route, is what I called test route. Yeah, this tool is kind of bugging out on me, but this route here is test route, and it is a very straight line that services very little of the city actually. It's just one straight up and down line, and it saves 44% of trips. Now, I have yet to have a bus route that goes over 50%, but I want to do some experimenting today. I want to see if we can get this to go over 50%, and I'm going to see if we put a direct line and a short line, very, very short line, if we could get over 50%. So we need to pick a spot where this will be really viable to try. And I think this area, given its size, and the fact that the bus route is very poor in this area, that we could get a very nice direct route. And I want to try just something really, really simple, but we need to make one road connection change first before we do that. So this road here, I think, has to pop up to here, and I'll just extend this once so we don't have to bulldoze this poor person's house. Oh, that guy's house is gonna die, but we'll zone this just to keep that looking right. Okay, so this bus route is going to be basically one street long. So we're going to do maybe 4 stops total on either side of this route. We'll do one right there, and then come up this way. Nope, take a turn. Why can't we take a turn here? Okay, there we go. Put it on the right side of the street. That'll help. And we'll do a stop there. Stop directly there. Oh, no, I wanted to come down the other street, sorry. So, this is about the shortest bus route in my city. And we're going to speed this up. And I want to see how this prospers. We're going to call this... Which one is this? It's this one here. Let's call this Test Line 2. And we'll see how this works. Let's give it a unique color for the area anyway. Green. Okay, so we're going to see how this line works, because if my theory is right, the fewer stops and the shorter the route is, the more trips it's going to save. That's what it seems to me so far. We'll find that out right away. This is going to take some time to update, so why don't we go look at some other things. The metro that we have right now is deficient, and I don't plan on doing metro for the day in this episode, but you can see that there are some inefficiencies. Like, we have a line that essentially tails back on itself. It would be a lot better if it would split off, or if it would come maybe somewhere down here, and then we pull from bus lines to an area there, so it's nice and straight, and doesn't double back over space that it's already kind of covered. The other thing is, this station is now servicing 3 different routes, and that's far too many for a metro station to service. And we need to remedy this. So we either have like a transfer station kind of thing like we did with the buses here. So we'll let the green line have a terminal part here, and then the orange and yellow can take the same station since they never cross each other's paths. But we need to get the green line out of there at some point in time. Let's see how our bus is going so far. So we haven't got statistics on it yet, so we'll just have to wait just a little bit. What else? The blue line, however, that services the industrial area, has its own station. And I haven't really watched the stats on this. Let's take a look and see. Industrial Express services 219. It's not very many. We don't have a lot of commercial space up here, so it's the workers basically. We do have some commercial space, but it's very small, as you can see. It's just this little strip. So I would doubt that this area is too popular as far as metro usage is concerned, and the stats certainly seem to indicate that as well. The yellow line, which is where one suburban area to downtown core is even bigger than the industrial one. So in my mind, this line is probably not worthwhile having, since it's 3 times smaller than even our most isolated suburban line is. The green line is our big one, and it services this dense residential area. It services this dense residential area, and it also services the downtown core. That's why it's so big, as well as orange, which services 2 of our residential areas plus 1 commercial area. So we need to rethink. The blue line likely needs to go. The yellow line probably needs to be optimized a little bit more, and maybe incorporated into orange line slightly. Instead of running orange line this way, maybe we run it up this way to here, over there, up there, and then back down again. That will streamline things quite a bit. Let's check on our bus route. 100% of trips saved so far. 100%. So I know these are probably a bit inaccurate of stats right now, but that's looking to start to prove the hypothesis that short and straight few stop routes will save the most amount of trips. And what do we do with that information? If we do confirm that this is the case, what do we do with it? That would seem to indicate to me that it's better to have more bus lines with less coverage per bus line, which I don't think is actually done in the real world. I think that most bus lines are quite lengthy and try to service at least a few different areas of a city and connect to somewhere at least central where a transfer can be made. We've dropped down. Obviously it's going to drop down slightly. I'm hoping, oh look, we just went under 42% or under 50%. So maybe our theory is not going to pan out for us here. If 40 some percent is like the maximum, and I mean I can see that we're already dropped below 40 with the others. I don't know how this is determined then. I suspected this was the case, but even if we get a negative result on this, it's still valuable. We'll have to wait for the next update. See, we're dropping below again. So very interesting results so far. It seems to not be supporting the theory, in fact, or the hypothesis. So that is fairly interesting. But test route still up there, 38%. Yellow line, which is the one that was kind of counterintuitive if my hypothesis was correct that short and straight routes are the best. Yellow line is very convoluted line. I mean, you can see that it's not compact. There's many stops on it, and it does connect to the central area, which always gives it a bit of a bonus, I suppose. So test line is now under 40%, which isn't looking promising. Let's go look at the bus stops and just see what they look like as far as people using them go. Yeah, there's nobody there. There's another one here. There's nobody there. Nobody at this one. So this is not being overly utilized. And let's see how close does it connect to purple. I wonder if we got it a little closer to purple, and if that would help. So let's give green a bus stop. Right, we'll have to drag it over, but let's give it a bus stop somewhere in this area, and we'll drag it over to right there. And purple's stop will pull back. Well, maybe we can give it another stop very close by, and just move this one down a little bit and take that one out. Okay, so now we're allowing it to be a little closer to the purple line connection, which it wasn't before. Purple kind of passed by, and I wonder if this will increase the usage over time. Look at 27% saved so far, so it is not a very good bus line. But let's see if we can see some, because purple has quite a few people here, and green's going to be letting off. So let's watch a busload of people and see if they come over to purple line. That guy didn't even take the stop. Come on, man. Neither did that guy. Is this route screwy? It's probably a bit screwy. let's fix this up. That looks better. Okay, so we have some people waiting at green. I'm curious as to whether they transfer between the lines. You know, these aren't very busy lines as it is. It looked to me like there was at least one transfer from purple to green there. And let's see, do these people transfer? Yes, they did. Okay, so I wonder if this will increase the... we were at 27, we're at 24 now. Let's see if this goes up instead of down. If we get this going up, then we know that this was somewhat successful in increasing usage. We just bumped down to 22. Purple is 27, which isn't great either. I've never done these experiments before, so I don't know what the results are going to be. You're seeing it live as I am. So we did get a couple transfers there. I did see at least one person go to that bus line and wait. They are influencing each other then, which is good. And we're at 20. We're still dropping on this. Still dropping. 41% on yellow. Perhaps it's not a direct route issue as it is a stops issue, which will be the next thing that I test. I'll put in as many bloody stops on this line as I possibly can and see if we can get a bit of a upgrade to usage. So I'm gonna let this run for a little bit, guys. I'm gonna be right back with you, and once we're back, we'll try some different techniques here to see if we can increase the trips saved. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, guys. I let this run for several minutes just to see what we would do with the percentage trips saved, and in fact it dropped again further. So I'm calling my hypothesis definitely incorrect, that the short and straight few stops bus line will save more trips. It didn't. Very, very clear that that's not the case. Now we're going to try something different. I want to see if I were to pepper the heck out of this bus line with stops, if that will in fact increase the trips saved. So everybody's getting a... Whoop, I don't like that one. Everybody's getting a bus stop along this route. Every bloody place I can put one, it's going to get a stop. And we're going to see if this affects anything. Bus stops for everyone. It's like the Oprah show of bus stops. Check under your chair, you'll find a bus stop. Okay, we have tons of stops now, and we're going to let this run just a little bit. And I'll check back with you in a few minutes to see if we can get above 20% again. Okay, be right back. Okay, folks, we're back. I've let the game run a little while. I can definitively say that this hypothesis that adding tons of stops to a bus route will increase trips saved is officially negative. It does not increase trips saved. In fact, it lowered it further than our other experiment did. I have one more experiment that I want to do for the day, and this one is going to be, I think, the most logical of the hypotheses that we could test. We're going to have a bus route with only 2 stops. It is going to pick up in one location and drop off in just one other location. So we're going to get rid of all of these useless stops around here. And we're going to see if a direct route... You know what? We might even do 3 stops. We'll do one there, one over on this end, and one near our transfer point. So we've got, just like I said, one here, one there, and one deep in this neighborhood here. The theory behind this, or the hypotheses, I guess, or the reasoning... I don't know those terms. Hypotheses being what you think will happen, theory being explaining what happens... Anyway, this is what my understanding of this, or my guess would be, is that this will not be as efficient. I think that there's some happy medium between the route shape, the number of stops, and the coverage that will determine the trip saved. And I don't think that this one will get it above 20%, but we'll soon find out. I'm going to let the game run, and I'll be back with you as soon as this has been given enough time to resolve itself. Ladies and gents, we're back. I've run the simulation a little bit. some surprising results, I have to say. I ran this a little while, and I watched the numbers very, very closely. I watched the ridership, I watched the transfers between the two lines. What do you think happened? Lodge your bets now, because I'm about to show you. Green line, our test line, has now become the most efficient route in our city. Isn't that interesting? So few stops, and yet is the most efficient route to them all. The coverage is bad. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, unless you live like here, are you really gonna walk from like here all the way down here to pick up this bus? And it's saved 48% of trips in its coverage area. I don't know what quite to make of this. I really don't. It would seem to me that this isn't the optimum layout. I think a couple more stops would have been quite a bit better. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna run it. I mean, okay, we have three stops here now. I'm gonna put one in the middle of this street and the middle of this street, because that makes, actually, you know what? We'll do one just in the middle of this street, because the last stop was like way back here. So we'll put one. Whoops, let's get into our tool here just a sec. We'll put one here. Okay. This one, I guess I'll assume it can serve this area. And we have a pedestrian path here, so if they need to get across to go to that one. And I just want to see if that does anything. We were at 48% very stably. And I'm going to run this and see if we can get above 48 or if we drop. This will be very curious. I'll be back in a second, folks. Okay, we're back, folks. Hopefully you didn't just see that pop up. I want you to guess. Take a guess. What are our results of this? We added in the one stop here. What do you think happened? Up or down? Drum roll. 2% increase in efficiency. 2% increase in trips saved. I guess we're calling that efficiency. But that's a surprising result, I guess. I don't know. It looked like we were getting greater efficiency when we stripped the line down. We added in one more stop. We got another 2%. I want to try one more experiment, and this will be a quick one. We've only got we have a fairly long stretch between here and here, and I want to just see if adding in these couple more stops here will tank our efficiency down. I want to do one on either side of this. So one here, that's a little close. I don't want it that close. One right there, and one right there. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll see if this went above 52, or if we go down from 52. Be right back. Okay, folks, we're back. We've let the game run a little bit, and we have to see whether our addition of the two stops increased or decreased the trips saved. Here we go. Boom! 51%. So we did drop by a slight amount by adding in the two new stops. We got a couple new riders on the route though, but still, look, this is by far our most efficient route in the city as far as trips saved. What does this tell us? What do all these experiments tell us for the day? One, it tells us that a straight short line is going to be more efficient than a long twisty line. Keep your line short. Two, it says use the fewest number of stops possible to accomplish your goal. So having tons and tons of stops will not add trips saved to your bus. There is a sweet spot, obviously. And we found in our route, it was between, how many did we have the first time? 3 was the most efficient. 4 was about the same. And as soon as we added in the 5th, then we started to have a drop in efficiency. The other thing that I think we can take away from this is that we need to plan pedestrian paths for people to have access to these really, really efficient bus lines. For example, if we were to delete one of these stops, and I think this is the one we would delete the most because it's right by this park, not a lot of houses around there. We should have a pedestrian path coming right through this area, so that if people from over here wanted to get onto the bus, they could easily walk through and get over here. Well, cool takeaways for the day. I didn't suspect that getting down to that bare minimum number of stops would increase the trip saved. And this is really what I want in my bus lines, is for every one of these to be over 50%. because that'll really cut down traffic. I mean, if you went from 25% to 50%, the traffic decrease would be huge. It'd be huge. So we're gonna, when we do our replanning of our public transit system, we're gonna use some of these kind of really efficient routes, connecting some of the bigger bus routes to the smaller areas. Cool experiments for the day, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, I always appreciate the likes on the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you want some further info about buses, I did put out a tutorial a couple weeks ago called Everything You Wanted to Know About Buses. It's not in this playlist, it's in the tutorials playlist. So go to my channel and you can find that playlist there. Until next time, folks, see you later. Bye-bye.